My name's Alice. I'm 26. I'm married to my husband, Rob, who is 4 years my senior. We fell in love at the office. He was my superior in the sales department, and he courted me. At the time, I was just 24 and thought marriage was too soon, but he was very passionate, saying things like, "Please, at least become my wife for now. We can think about what comes next together. And I'll make you happy. Absolutely. There's no other man in this world who wants to make you happier than I do." In the end, I guess I was won over by his fervor, or rather, I thought this was a man who would take care of me for life, so I decided to accept his proposal. And so, a year after he began to court me, we got hitched. Now we're finally celebrating our first year of marital bliss. It was a bit awkward since it was a workplace romance, so I decided to change jobs. I might take a part-time job at a bakery.
That's a good idea. You can also take some cooking classes and have a leisurely life.
The truth is, his family is quite affluent. Incredibly, his father bought us an apartment when we got married. I feel a bit guilty.
It's okay. Let's take advantage of what our parents can provide. All you have to do is be a good daughter-in-law.
I guess. I did my best to be a good daughter-in-law, like visiting my in-laws' house with gifts. We're just happy that a beautiful girl like Alice has become our daughter-in-law.
That's right. He's a bit of a handful, isn't he? Please take good care of him.
Sure. They are very kind-hearted in-laws. Of course, my parents are also pleased with this marriage. They warmly welcomed Rob, who is well-educated and is on a fast track at his career path at work. When are you planning on having children? It's easier if you start raising them early. Well, we're thinking about it. It's better to have them sooner rather than later. Raising kids requires a lot of energy. Well, it's not like I want to go out and party anymore. I guess I'll try to be a good mom. It's nice to be able to talk so candidly with my own mother. I started thinking that it might be better to have children sooner rather than later. In this way, everyone in our family was blessing our marriage, except one person. My older sister is not happy about our marriage. Her name is Susan. She's 6 years older than me at 32. She has been a white-collar worker for 14 years since graduating high school, but she has never had a boyfriend. Or rather, she has always seen me as her adversary since we were little, and it was scary. I have memories of her bullying me ever since I was a toddler. And even as I grew up and became aware of her animosity, my sister's bullying was insidious. Tearing up my notebook, hiding my pencil case, really petty pranks that irked me. At the worst, she'd take the diary I was keeping from my desk, show it to our parents, and laugh. I wasn't writing anything strange, but it was very discomforting. It seems she didn't like that our parents were fond of me. And there was one more thing. The deciding factor was looks. To put it modestly, I was born with a well-arranged face that took the best features from both my parents. But my sister, she didn't look anything like me and had a plain face. She had curly hair and impure skin. It seems she had a complex about her looks. But I was at a loss as to what to do if she had an antagonistic feeling towards me. Even though I was cute, I was not on the level of a model or an actress, just an ordinary level. So I always thought instead of being jealous and mean to me, she should have been trying to make herself prettier. However, It seemed like she was fueling her complex deep inside, and after graduating from high school, she started working right away and saved up money. Just before turning 20, she underwent plastic surgery. At the time, I was only 14, and I was shocked to see my sister come home with a blue bruise on her face, thinking she had been violently assaulted. But apparently, she had undergone plastic surgery on her eyes, nose, lips, and entire contour all at once. After a while, when the downtime was over, my sister looked like a different person. She still looked like she had plastic surgery, but I think she was prettier than before. Above all, I thought it was okay as long as she was satisfied. At that time, I believed that since her face had become beautiful, her heart should also become a little more beautiful. Even though we were not very close as sisters, when I announced that I was getting married, she only said something sarcastic like, "Huh, you're already getting married. Aren't you a fool for selling yourself short?" I thought once again that I would never get along with this sister in the future. After my marriage, it seemed that my sister had undergone plastic surgery somewhere again. It's hard to tell what has changed and how. Her skin was unnaturally shiny, and her eyes became even more double-lidded. Only the person herself knows whether she has improved or not. Well, that's fine, but despite the fact that we didn't have a very good relationship, my sister started coming to my house to play or stay over for some reason. "Sis, what's up? What's wrong?" "Because you got married first, Mom has been annoyingly asking me, 'What about you?' I'm just waiting to carefully select my partner." "I see. So?" "It's uncomfortable at home because of you, so let me stay." And she even brought her personal belongings. It's too forceful and annoying, but I can't just kick her out. I didn't like it, but I thought she wouldn't come very often. After all, she doesn't like me at heart, so I assumed she wouldn't visit often. But my sister started coming at least once a week and sometimes 2 or 3 times a week at worst. It's really becoming a nuisance. We began to have strange living patterns, such as having dinner with my husband and her, and drinking together when she brought alcohol at night. I gotta say, I wasn't having much fun. My sister was making a big fuss, and it kind of creeped me out. But for some reason, my husband Rob didn't seem to mind and always seemed to welcome her. I finally asked him, "Hey, what's the deal? Aren't you bothered when my sister comes over?"
Nah, not at all. She's a great gal. Always bringing me little gifts and stuff. The other day, when she stayed over, we even went to the train station together. She's really something, ain't she? And boy, she's quite the looker from the side,"
he said, all chummy-like. "Side profile? She's had work done, you know." Gifts? She never brought me any. So many things didn't add up, but seeing him like this, I couldn't say a darn thing. I've been giving off the "please don't come over anymore" vibe, but my sister didn't seem to catch my drift. Days went on like this. Then, one day, my husband dropped a bombshell.
"Listen, I'm sorry. I'm leaving you, Alice. Susan is pregnant."
I couldn't believe my ears. "Say what?"
"It's a long story, but I just met with her. She's already 10 weeks along. She even showed me the ultrasound picture."
My head was spinning. Hearing about ultrasounds out of the blue, I couldn't wrap my head around what was happening. What the heck is going on? Just as I was about to give my husband a piece of my mind, the doorbell rang. My sister was standing at the entrance of our apartment building. I buzzed her in and invited her inside. I figured it's about time I got an explanation for all this madness.
Oh, Alice, I know this isn't ideal, but you'll still congratulate me, right?
My sister pulled out an ultrasound picture from her wallet with a smug look on her face. Are you out of your mind?
Out of my mind or not, you should face reality. Rob is the father. We've been in love, you see.
My husband looked uncomfortable, but his affections were clearly now with my sister.
I'm sorry, Alice, but you're still young. You can start over. Now that things are this way with Susan, I gotta step up to the plate, and I'm gonna make her happy no matter what. There ain't a man alive who'd want to make her happier than me,
he said, repeating pretty much the same line he used when he proposed to me. It seems that he is completely drunk with himself due to his forbidden affair and my sister's pregnancy. Stupid man, I screamed inside my head. My sister was still wearing that smug look on her face. And then she walked into the room and stood next to my husband like she owned the place.
Rob, let's get on with this. You know your sister will do the right thing and step aside for her big sis,
she said. So many emotions were welling up inside me. My sister had always been the sneaky kind, doing all sorts of nasty things behind my back. When she heard I was getting married, she laughed it off. And now, to add insult to injury, she's taken my husband. Right now, my feelings for my despicable sister and the man standing next to her just went ice cold. But I thought to myself that I'm not going to let them have their way. I ain't getting divorced, no way, no how. Over my dead body, I told them off. My hubby was like,
"What? Why not? What do you think about the baby your sister is carrying?"
I couldn't care less. The very idea of you two being involved makes my skin crawl. So he's been seeing her and had the nerve to come and hang out in my room, and the three of us have been breaking bread together. I'm beginning to think he's doing it just to tick me off more than anything. I didn't budge an inch. I won't give you what you want. I don't love him anymore, so he's all yours, but no divorce. Go ahead and have your little love child.
Excuse me? You say that to your own sister?
You're one to talk, doing this to your own sister.
Just pack up and leave. This apartment was bought by Rob's parents, so I have a right to stay.
I don't know what planet you're on. You're just the other woman who happens to be pregnant with my husband's child. I'm the one legally married to him. There's no way I'm leaving.
Don't you talk back to me.
My sis was red in the face. Maybe she thought she'd win if she got pregnant. Well, she's got another thing coming. I glared at her. If you keep pushing, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. Seeing me stand up to her for the first time, my sis looked a bit shaken and said,
"Fine. Anyway, Rob will be mine. Keep on struggling. It's pathetic."
And stormed off. What a piece of work. I made up my mind not to consider her my sister anymore. I ignored my husband and went to the bedroom. He mumbled something outside the door, but I pretended not to hear him and continued giving him the cold shoulder until he gave up and slept on the couch. The next day, I got the ball rolling. I went to my in-laws to spill the beans. I figured I needed to make the first move before Rob does anything. They were shocked and apologized for their son's behavior. That darn fool! No way in heck we're accepting this. That woman's outrageous too. Oh, sorry, she's your sister, Alice. No, I've decided to cut ties with her. I can't believe she's pregnant with my husband's child. Exactly. We're on your side, Alice. Let us know if you need a lawyer. Thank you. I don't plan to divorce him for the time being. There's no need to give them what they want. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. We're here to clean up our stupid son's mess.
I thanked them and left. Next, I went to my parents. I thought my sister might have talked to them, but it seems she didn't have the guts to tell them yet. What? What on earth is she thinking? Gives me a headache.
What are you gonna do now? You should come back home? No need to be with that man?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I decided to leave the apartment and go back to my folks. There's no way I'm living with that man. He's probably sneaking around with my sister and treating me like a third wheel. I thought to myself that I should play my cards right. My sister didn't come back to our folks when she realized I wasn't coming back to the apartment. We essentially swapped houses, but, well, I guess it's fair to say I came out on top for now. I managed to move my stuff out of the condo with the help of my folks, and it seems that my sister moved in as soon as I moved out. But when I reported this to my in-laws, they were like,
"No way we're okay with this." And "Who do you think put up the money?"
And they went ahead, changed the name on the deed, and just sold the condo. I gotta admit, I chuckled when I heard about it. My sister and her hubby, looking none too pleased, moved out and rented an apartment. As for me, my husband kept begging me with tears in his eyes, saying,
"Please agree to the divorce. We have a baby on the way. Do you want to make your sister a single mom?"
I was adamant. I won't agree to a divorce. That's final. And I didn't budge. He threatened legal action and stuff, but I was like, go ahead, make my day. To make sure he didn't go and file for divorce behind my back, I put in a request to reject any divorce papers. If it had been some unknown woman, maybe I wouldn't have been so stubborn, but the other woman was my sister. Once the baby is born, I bet they'll be showing it off to the in-laws and my parents saying, "Look at your grandchild." Can't exactly say adios to family like you can with strangers. I endured a wicked woman who thought that everything would be fine as long as she gave birth to a child. Anyway, I knew I wouldn't be able to move on and find someone else just like that. I planned to drag this out as long as possible without officially splitting. And then I decided to make a triumphant return to the same workplace as my husband. I reached out to our mutual boss, explained everything, and got my job back. Tough break. But you're still young. You'll bounce back. Everyone was cheering me on. Since I blabbed to everyone at work what my husband did, he was all like,
"Dude, that's messed up, getting your sister-in-law pregnant."
And that's some next level creepiness. And he ended up quitting because everyone was giving him the stink eye. Serves him right. And then, 9 months later, it seems my sister had her baby. Neither set of parents acknowledged her giving birth. My good-for-nothing husband, who's painted himself into a corner, told me about it.
"It's a boy,"
he said. So I was like, oh, really? Given all the plastic surgery she's had, I bet he doesn't look like her, huh? With a bit of sass.
"Wait, what? Plastic surgery? What do you mean?"
he says, but I just say, who knows, and hang up. Turns out my sister, let's call her Susan, ended up having Rob's child without marrying him. They're living together now, but at the end of the day, they're just two unrelated people. She's not even really a common law wife. Pathetic that two grown-ups who can't get their parents' blessing are living together and having a kid. What's more, he can't find a job. My sister, who's got a nasty streak, is apparently complaining nonstop because things aren't going her way. And he's so frazzled he can't get hired anywhere. My sister quit her job when she had a baby, and now the two of them are living by draining their savings. But, well, even if they can live somewhat normally, the cold stares from both sets of parents are awaiting them, and a life where they are whispered about behind their backs by society. I wonder if my sister really liked that husband of hers. That's something that I can't help but wonder about. If she did all this just to get at me, I think she's kind of pitiful. We're estranged now, so it doesn't matter to me anyway. As for me, I am thinking of finally giving my good-for-nothing husband the boot. I'm going to go through a lawyer and make sure to claim alimony. And I think it's time for me to get ready for the next chapter in my life. I'm glad I didn't just hand over the role of being his wife when he was over the moon. If I had done that, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. This past year has been really tough, but I'm going to forget all that and move forward.